Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're conquering the peanut butter cookie. We're going to make giant, truffled, the best peanut butter cookies you've ever had in your life cookies. And they're going to be big and they're going to have big round truffles on top that we're going to sort of push in as they come out of the oven. They're going to be awesome, crackly and peanut buttery and even peanutty as well. So before I get started, I'd like you to click that notification button so you can see all my videos and tips as they come out. All right, so this is a creaming method of mixing. Very, very easy to do. And before we start creaming our butter and peanut butter and our sugars, I want to whisk some dry ingredients and get them ready. You know, that's part of our mise en place, getting everything ready and in its place. So I'm using bread flour. Yeah, I'm using bread flour, and this is not bread, this is cookies. So the bread flour is to make a chewier structure of our cookie, because I love my cookies thick and chewy. So I hope you do too. All right, so in this bowl I have, I want to get it right, 2 cups plus 1 tablespoon of bread flour, and that's high protein flour. And then I'm going to put in 3/4 of a cup of white whole wheat flour. It gives it a little bit of a nutty flavor, goes real well with the peanuts and the peanut butter. I have 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That's all going to go in, and we're going to whisk it up. All right, that's our dry ingredients. Not to mention, we have 1 1/4 cups of roasted salted peanuts. Don't chop them up. I like them big, and if you like them big, keep them the way they are. Obviously, they're out of the shell. Those will go in later. All right, so I'm going to get that ready. Now, in a bowl of an electric mixer, we're going to put 2 sticks or 8 ounces of unsalted butter. And then we're going to use some peanut butter. All right, so this is 1 cup, and it's a lot. So it's 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of smooth peanut butter. And it's lovely. Make sure it's at room temperature. I never refrigerate my peanut butter because it's hard to spread if you do, but it keeps fine at room temperature. Now, if you want to use chunky, by all means. The more nuts, the better. So if you don't like peanuts and you want to do something different, you could use almond butter if you wanted, and just leave the peanuts out if you have somebody that doesn't like peanuts. All right, so with my paddle attachment, I am going to just give this a few go-rounds before I even add my sugar. All right, and the butter is softened. All right, so here I have granulated sugar. It is make sure 3/4 of a cup plus 2.5 tablespoons of granulated, 1 cup packed light brown sugar. All right. So once you get a little bit of a mishmash of your peanut butter and sugar, or peanut butter and your butter, get your sugars in there. All right, just get them in there. Make sure your brown sugar's nice and soft, but it's packed. Whoops, all over the place. All right, we're going to get it into our bowl, preferably. All right. And then you're going to let that just whirl around a little bit. See, I saved it. And we're just going to let that go. I have 2 large eggs, the whole egg, 2 of them. And I have 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. And that is going to be put in a little while once we get a little bit of the creaming going on. Now, we don't want too much creaming because we'll get more of a cakey cookie, and we don't want that. We want it soft and chewy. So now I'm going to add 1 egg, and I'm just going to pour in on medium speed. About 1 egg and a little bit of vanilla will go in there. Just let that combine. I'm going to add the remainder. All right. And now we can start on low speed. We can start our dry ingredients. Okay, so on low speed, we're going to add our beautiful dry ingredients that we blended in together. And there's a lot of chemical leaveners in this because I do want it to puff up and rise, and I do want to get that beautiful structure and texture. And the bread flour really helps with the chewiness. Try it in some of your cookie recipes. Substitute it out. You'll see it's wonderful. So we're just going to get that all in. Now, since I want to show you what I'm doing, everything that I'm doing, I'm going to transfer this particular dough to a clear glass bowl so you can see the beautiful, beautiful dough. And then I'm going to add my peanuts. My peanuts, and I got a lot of peanuts in here. So I'm going to give that a go around real quick. All right, I get my big bowl. That's a big bowl. And I'm going to get this in. It's a lot of batter. A lot of batter. Because we like a lot of peanut butter cookies. So you're going to use your hands. All right. You see all that? See that lusciousness? Look at that. Oh, just going to push it in there. And I do like to chill my dough a little bit because that'll also help with the chewiness and the thickness. Because the thinner the batter, the more it'll spread. So I like to chill it so that the butter stays sort of firm in the oven and gives it a really nice thick texture. All right, and you know what? There's so much dough in here. I'm going for my bowl scraper. I'm just going to make sure I get all my dry ingredients in here, homogeneously blended. You can see they get stuck a little bit on the bottom. I'm going to get those all in there. Now, I developed this cookie recipe when I was writing my textbook about professional baking. And it's one of my favorite peanut butter recipes, peanut butter cookie recipes ever, because I am a big fan. But by making them with a truffle on top, like a chocolate ganache truffle on top, I'm putting my nuts in now. All right. And then I'm just going to push everything together. Ah, heck with it. I'm going to use my hands. All right. So you're just going to gently, my hands are clean. You have to trust me on that. I'm just going to gently get my nuts in there because I want them evenly distributed because nobody wants a cookie without nuts. And I like lots of nuts. I'm a little nuts. So I like a lot of peanuts in my cookies. Again, you can leave out the peanuts. You can use almonds, almond butter if you can't eat peanuts or you don't like them. All right. Oh, wow. It's a big dough. It's a big dough. So at this point, I can put plastic wrap over my bowl, chill it for a couple hours till it's a little firmer. I can even freeze this in plastic wrap. But I want to bake this off for you soon. So I'm just going to give it a nice little chill till it firms up just a little bit, not too much. And I'll see you back here after it's chilled. So while our dough is chilling, it is time to make our truffled sort of little crowns that we're going to put on top of each cookie as it comes out of the oven. So what I did was I made a ganache, and I didn't want to show you because you've done this with me a million times. It's in the recipe. So you heat up 1 cup of heavy cream till it comes to a simmer, almost a boil. Take it off the heat and add 4 cups of semi-sweet chocolate morsels that are high quality or finely chopped semi-sweet chocolate. 4 cups. And yes, that's a lot because you want a thick truffle on top. You don't want it to be just sort of like a coating or a sauce. We want it to be solid. And then you take a 15 by 10 inch pan or 15.5 by 10.5, whatever rectangular pan with sides. So make sure it has sides. And you're going to line it with foil. And you're going to spread the ganache. After the chocolate melts, you're going to whisk it into the hot, heavy cream. And then you're going to pour it in here and level it off with an offset spatula. And then put it in your fridge for a couple hours. Or you could even rush it a little bit and put it in the freezer for a few minutes just to get firm enough. So my truffle topping has chilled. It's firm enough that I can cookie cutter out small rounds, and you can either use fluted rounds. I have a 1 3/4 inch diameter fluted round or a plain round, whatever you want to use. You could even use triangular cookie cutter or even a frog cookie cutter, whatever you want. It's just got to be small, no more than 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to do just cookie cutter them out. So this is like you're cookie cuttering out cookies, like cookie dough, but this is the ganache. All right, so you see what I've got? And then I'm going to put them on a wax paper lined sheet pan. So I have these rounds, these little truffles. And I don't want to handle them too much because they'll melt. And I'm going to make sure that I cut enough for each cookie. And we're going to be making about 3 dozen, but these are big cookies. So the bigger you make them, the fewer cookies you're going to have, but lucky you. So my peanut butter dough has chilled, and it's not really hard, but it's firm enough that I can scoop it without it literally getting all over the place. So I have a 2-ounce scooper. It's about 1/4 cup in volume. If you want to do tablespoons, you can, but I love doing it with an ice cream scoop. So I'm going to get, because I promised you gigantic cookies, and these are gigantic. So I'm going to put them in here. It doesn't totally fill the full amount. Because they're going to spread, they're big. And you're going to take them like this, get every peanut in there, and you're going to sort of squeeze them into a ball. You don't want to overhandle. And I have a pie plate, or you can get a plate or a bowl, and I have it with granulated sugar. And the dough may fall apart a little bit because it's loaded with peanuts. Not a bad thing. So I have a bowl, right? I'm going to roll it around. It just gives it a little, little crunch, little yum yum. You're going to put it on a parchment lined sheet pan, and then you're going to take either a glass or a solid measuring cup, and I'm just going to push down a little, just to sort of get it in the shape that it will be in the oven, but it will be a little crackled when it comes out, because that's the characteristic that we want from these peanut butter cookies. So I'm going to keep going. All right, I'm going to keep scooping. My oven is preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, my little rounds, my truffled rounds and little scalloped rounds that I put, or fluted rounds, I put back in the refrigerator to stay chilled. And then we top them as soon as they come out of the oven. So once I fill up this cookie sheet, I'm going to put it in the oven, 375 degrees. Between 10 and 12 minutes, don't overbake them, until they're light golden brown. You don't want them to get too brown on the bottom or on the top. Look at my cookies. They're gorgeous. They're just barely brown, and they've been in for about between 10 and 12 minutes. I think these were in for about 12. Now I have my chilled truffle toppings, and I'm going to take one, and while it's hot, you're going to put it right in the middle and gently press, and just leave it alone, okay? So you're going to gently press it in. Look how pretty they look, and they're so big. I like them big. I like my cookies big. Can you tell? I love them big. I love them big. And you're going to put 1 truffle on each cookie. All right, it doesn't matter whether it's fluted or regularly just the round one, doesn't matter. And they all taste good, just the same. Look at how gorgeous. Now these made about 2.5 gigundo cookies. But if you think you would like to be a little bit more conservative than Chef Gail and make them a little smaller, make them a little smaller, make them as small as you want, and then you can just take your truffles and make them smaller. Now the rest of my cut out ganache, I just sort of push back and put it into a container, and I can melt that down, serve it over ice cream. I can use it as a cake frosting. I can do anything I want with it, or eat it out of the container, which I tend to do. So I would love if you could try these beautiful cookies and become a subscriber, because there's many more videos where this takes you. Till next time.